all the straight lines, even the stump jump line. Well, that's what this bike lives for. And then punching and sending, yes! Ha ha! Proper rider's bike is this one. My name's Guy Kesteven. I've been a professional bike and kit reviewer for 25 years. And this is my live ride review on Canyon's short on travel, big on attitude, Spectral 125 CF8. Right, let's get a basic numbers check out of the way on this CF8. So 140mm travel on the fork, 125 at the back to float, 36 Performance Elite on the front, and it's a Float X piggyback on the back. You've got 64-degree head angle, and you've got nice steep 76-degree seat angle, and at 486mm long for large, this is a proper long bike. I mean, not as long as the new Canyon Strive, but certainly not short for a 125mm travel bike. And the frame is, although it looks very, very similar, it is subtly different to the Spectral 160, which obviously has 160mm fork, 150mm rear travel. But some of the dimensions, like chainstay length, has massive jawbone deep carbon chainstays are the same, so 437mm long on the back end. So with those numbers, what is it for? Well, it's certainly not a downcountry bike, because it's actually pretty much identical weight to the 160, 150 bike. You know, 14.3 kilos of that pedals on for this large, so it ain't no lightweight when you compare it to, you know, Canyon's Lux Trail at 12.15 kilos with 120mm travel, or even the Neuron with 130mm is a lot lighter. So it's basically just a really rowdy short travel trail bike. And to be fair, it does do that. Whoa! It is loose in here today. God, it's dry weather, we're not used to it as Brits. But yeah, I mean, this is a proper punchy little short travel aggro bike. There are some slight changes in the suspension, so obviously the travel's different, but also it's a little more positive under the pedals. There's still a bit of bob, but it's definitely not as soft as the previous bikes. All right, but you know, it's still a fairly long bike to get around stuff, and obviously it's pretty slack as well. And while it does work brilliantly as a mullet, if you've watched that video, then you'll also know that Canyon don't really approve of that, or of coil shocks, so don't be copying me at home, kids. Now, they want you to keep this as a 29er, and to be fair, that does give it a lot more flow and pedaling speed. Although that change to the kinematic does mean it catches and chokes slightly more on rooty, rocky climbs like this. So, and there's actually, although it does that at the start, there's still a fair bit of bounce in the mid-stroke. So I have been tending to use that pedal firming lever quite a lot on this bike to kind of manage the shock movement. But it's definitely a more direct, precise and feedback rich ride than the Spectral, which is just, sorry, Spectral 150, which is so good at taking everything in its stride. It's almost too good. It's almost boring and the way it'll just flow and float down descents. Definitely feels like you're working more on this. But where that shorter travel really works is where you've got either small punchy sections like this, where you're popping in and out of pedal strokes and getting the power down, or where it's a lot of flow and a lot of turns. I mean, it's brilliant at some of my favourite super steep and technical trails. Feels absolutely awesome on them. I mean, to be honest, with this 140mm Performance 36, Performance Elite 36 as well, because you are loading the fork quite a lot, because of that steep seat angle and that slack head angle, it just feels, it's just a great advert for that fork, and also just the stiffness of this bike in general. You know, with this kind of stuff, you got big 200mm rotor, you got a DHR on the front, so again, it's not as fast rolling as a DHF or something like that. It's definitely a control rather than speed choice in terms of tyres, but that means you can really load this bike up, make the absolute most of this geometry. So, but while that fork and those tyres and the DT XM 1700 wheels all add, and that big front rotor all add a lot of confidence, they do account for most of that extra weight. I mean, stuck a 34 on here, which you can get in 140mm. You save about 200 grams. Stick an inline shock on here, that's nearly 200 grams lighter. And you could certainly go lighter on the wheel spec as well. And I'm actually really tempted to do that as a separate hop-up edit. But then pretty much immediately after I go up every techie climb where I'm like, oh, I wish this bike was a bit lighter and had like lightweight componentry on, I drop into somewhere like this where having that extra command and confidence and control is just an absolute gift and makes it proper hoot to get rad on. And as well as the componentry providing physical endurance on the most hardcore trails, it's also a really tough, well thought out practical frame. So you've got double seal bearings right the way through, and those bearing seats are replaceable, and if you get the right line and keep it light through sections like that, it is so rewarding because you just feel more in touch, that you've done more to make the bike behave and keep it fast, keep it flowing. That's where, because I mean, you know, it doesn't make any sense to buy a bike with less travel at the same price and the same weight on paper, but through your heels, your hips, your hands, and that dirty great grin on your face when you get things right, that's when this Spectral 125 feels absolutely awesome. Yes, finally coming alive in the heat on this bike, and that happens when you ride it as hard as you can. Yes, you beauty. Now they'll get you. Now they'll understand. Sorry, got carried away by the ride there. You know, it's obviously a good thing, but it means I didn't tell you that as long as you get the right Canyon little compact bottle, you can get a 600ml bottle under the shock, and it comes with QR15 lever in the fork and a little pop out axle on the rear as well. So, you know, wheel removal is tool free and convenient, and it comes with a 6-year guarantee as well. And while, you know, you're buying it online, there is a Canyon service centre in most countries now, and they're at most big events too with their demo fleet, so it's a lot easier to try them out than it used to be. But definitely that kinematic means there's more stand up and more coming through your feet than there is with the 150 bike. So, you know, it is a bike you have to use more skill with to get it going as fast, but you're much more aware of that speed, and it's actually very similar to how Santa Cruz Tallboy feels. It feels awesome when you're on top of your game on sort of more kind of man-made stuff. So big flowing features, large hits, handles them extremely well, but it tends to get more caught up on roots and chatter rocks like this than a more neutral bike, which is what the Lux Trail and the bigger Spectral are. But obviously, it being a Canyon, there's a big difference in price between this and the Tallboy. I think a Tallboy basic carbon with Fox 34 rhythm and performance float shock SRAM NX, still 500 quid more than this bike. Although interestingly, it's the same weight, because they have gone with a 34 and a inline shock. So, you know, that definitely completes the story that this bike could be a lot lighter than it currently is. So, I think this is an exploration of the bike to be continued, but I think that's a really good sign that I want to ride this bike more, that I want to find out what its full potential is, because I get why they built it like this, because they do have the Lux Trail, the Neuron, to kind of fill that all mountain tour, down country, cross country category. But I really would like to see what this bike can do in a lighter, even punchier package. I reckon that really might be a bit of me. But especially as, you know, the angles are absolutely great. Loving that head angle. I think the 40mm stem works really well. 780mm bar. That 76-degree seat angle, big fan of for aggressive pedalling. Again, it does mean you're a little bit further forward, so maybe more likely to hook the back wheel or spin it, but in terms of punching around here, trying to stay ahead of e-bikes, then it's definitely a more aggressive, poised win. And the other thing I keep forgetting to mention is it's got a little flip chip on the end of the shock, so you could make it slightly higher, slightly steeper than it is now. But to be honest, I forget it because I don't know why you'd use it, because it's fairly high as it stands, and you know, that slackness is what really lets you push this Performance Elite fork and that Float X on the rear to the max and get the most out of this properly tight, aggressive, punchy frame. I mean, the way it heels in is just properly inspiring. All the straight lines, even the stump jump line. Well, that's what this bike lives for. And then punching and sending. Yes! Ha ha! Proper rider's bike is this one. Might not, I'm going to use that cliche again. Might not make that much sense on paper, but on the trail, properly love it. I mean, I'll admit that's not universal. My mate Ryan, he's got right into making 150 mil travel bike go fast this year. Didn't really get it. And I guess that's tempered my own view to some degree, but if you like your bikes short, punchy and to the point, this is a beauty. So, in summary, absolutely love the involvement you're getting through this short travel bike. I love the geometry. I think the componentry in terms of getting maximum control for rowdy trails is absolutely spot on. And I think, you know, it has real potential to be a proper like cult bike, like the orange ST4 or the Blur 4X. But I think, considering even in this form, you know, standard carbon fibre, it's still a pretty light frame, considering all the practical touches. Canyon claim it's 2.5 kilos for the frame. But I'm just surprised they don't do a CFR version like they do with the 150 Spectral, which is a lighter composite layup that saves 300 grams out of the frame. Because ultimately, some people are definitely going to get this bike and they're going to use it to every bit of its potential, and it's going to be brilliant for them. But for most riders, they're going to be getting off better on the slightly more placid, slightly more flaccid, but just take much more in its stride, more easily ride of the 150 Spectral. Well, I guess, you know, because you're not having to choose one or the other, you know, you can choose whichever one suits you, then fair play to Canyon for making something as flat out rowdy as the Spectral 125, which I can come down that section on with that much confidence, even though I've actually got a completely flat rear tyre. Well, pretty much flat, as you can see. So yeah, if you're wondering why the uphill sections towards the end weren't that exciting, always take a pump, kids. But I mean, even the fact that, you know, I'm trying to keep a lid on it down there, but even then, it's just a bike you want to let go and you want to push on, even though air in the rear tyre. And I guess that probably sums it up better than all the other nonsense I've been talking about. And I think that pretty much sums it up perfectly. Well, I've been flapping on, trying to kind of define where this bike sits in Canyon and what, you know, I really think about it. Even though I flatted the back tyre, because I've been pushing hard on it, it's just gone, oh, just shut up and get on and ride hard. Because the harder you ride this, the better it feels. And just forget about the travel, forget about the weight. The more you push on with this bike, the more you believe in it, the more pressure you put, the more you drive that front fork and really push this geometry, the better this bike feels. And that pretty much sums it up. Not everyone is going to get it. Not everyone, I think, should get it. And I'd love to try a lighter version. I might even make my own. But as it stands, this is, I don't think, you know, the people who said it's the ultimate British trail bike, I don't agree with that, because I don't think it is for most people. I think most people are better off getting the Spectral 150. But as a short travel, rowdy, yet again, it's another bike where the short travel version is even more aggro, even more rowdy and rewarding than the longer travel one. And if you get what I mean when I say that, then this is an absolute belter. And so are the cheaper ones as well. So have a look at the aluminium ones and the CF7, because again, I don't think you really need well, I don't think a lot of people will need this much spec. I mean, yeah, it's a lovely bike, but I'd have been happy with the CF7 or the CF6 or even the AL bikes. You know, they're proper bargains. And I think you are looking at the ultimate trail bike for rowdy UK riding then. Because even though Canyon are great value, things are not getting cheaper, are they? So when there's a platform that still continues that performance right down to a base level, then that's a big thumbs up from me. But anyway, massive thanks to Canyon for sending the bike in for test. I've had it for quite a while. I've been playing around with it in loads of different formats. So thank you very much to them for their patience with that. Thank you to Giro Cycling UK. Thank you to PTs. Thank you to Crud as well. And thank you as always to my Patreon subscribers. They pledge a small amount every month and they get early, extended and behind the scenes footage as a thank you. And they get all of that ad free. So if you really like what I'm doing with the channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon at GuyKez TV. But if you haven't subscribed already, click the subscription button, click for notifications as well, give this a thumbs up so YouTube share it more, and tell your mates about the channel, because if you've got this far in the video, then you've obviously enjoyed watching it. So spread the word, because that's the best way for the channel to grow, and I can justify spending more time making these videos, and more people will send in more stuff. But for now, I've been Guy Kestevan on GuyKez TV, riding the proper rowdy have a go hero that is Canyon's Spectral 125 CF8.